Hi, everybody. This is a webinar on life skills and computer literacy and how to integrate the two so as to have our students have the best possible experience when learning about this topic or the subject. The topics that we are going to cover, though, is session 1, which is knowing today's NCV students. Session 2, learner-centered teaching strategies. Session 3, Blended Learning for Life Skills and Computer Literacy. Session 4, Linking the Curriculum, Life Skills with Computer Literacy. Session 5, Designing Engaging Lessons. And Session 6, Keeping the Spark Alive. So over there, you can see what the training objectives are. It is broken up down into 3 outcomes. Outcome 1 will cover session 1 and session 2. Outcome 2 will cover session 3 and session 4. Outcome 3 will cover session 5 and session 6. So we're starting with outcome 1, which is understanding the learner and reframing the experience. Session 1 is about knowing today's NCV student. The objective for knowing today's NCV student is to build empathy and design lessons around who the students really are. We need to remember that our students are diverse. They come from different backgrounds. Some are from the rural areas such as Eastern Cape and others from urban areas like Cape Town itself. Keeping that in mind, their experiences will shape the way that they learn things, and we need to keep that in mind when teaching these students. It is a good idea to relate our lessons to their real life experience, and we do this by establishing what is called background knowledge. So as a lecturer, you will need to ask them questions about the topic to see if they know anything about it. For example, what is HIV? In that case, students will then answer based on their experience or their established knowledge to answer us as to what HIV is. We then can build on what they know and take it further. We also need to remember that relevance is retention. So if our students see themselves in the lesson, they are more likely to stay engaged and to participate as well. We also have certain student challenges or challenges that our students do experience. Number 1 being socioeconomic barriers. This comes in the form of poverty or an unstable home environment. Students often have to take care of sick parents. They experience abuse within the household, and they even have to take care of minors, which are their younger siblings, especially if a parent is sick. Number 2, we have academic preparedness. Keeping in mind that a vast number of our students have poor foundational skills. A lot of them come from what is known as the school of skills, so they're already disadvantaged when it comes to their educational background. We also have language barriers where lecturers need to teach the lesson in English, but a lot of our students don't understand English as well as what the lecturer does. We have to keep in mind as well that our students have English as maybe not even a second language, but a third or fourth language, which leads to huge problems in the classroom when they are trying to understand what is being taught. Students also have limited career guidance and no clear understanding of the vocational pathways or labor market relevance. They often come to the TVET colleges because of what is known as NSFAS, the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. Students come from a background of poverty, and the NSFAS offers an opportunity for them to get money into the household, just so that they can have something to eat even. So when they come to register, they don't know what the programs offer. They don't know which employment or line of employment they can go into with the programs on offer. All they know is they need to get into the TVET college so that they can get a NSFAS bursary. We've also got what is known as learning environment issues. TVET colleges themselves are under-resourced. there is a high lecturer turnover in terms of a vast number of lecturers are also on contract. They don't have stable jobs or stable permanent jobs. And when lecturers retire or resign, it takes a very, very long time, years in fact, for those lecturers to be replaced. There are also certain factors such as poorly trained instructors, where lecturers don't actually have the adequate qualifications to teach the subject that they have been employed to teach. Number 5 is stigma and perception. TVET and NCV qualifications are sometimes viewed as second rate in comparison to university qualifications. Students might go to apply for jobs, and the company itself may not even have heard of an NCV qualification, which is another challenge that our students experience. Then we have psychological and emotional challenges. As mentioned before, some of our students are experiencing abuse at home or in their home environment, which leads to high levels of stress, depression, or anxiety. And it does not help that there is a lack of student support service available to them. Either there is one student support officer servicing 2 or 3 campuses, or campuses are left without student support officers on a whole. I know that at the campus that I work at, we don't have a student support officer based here, even though we are a very huge campus. And this has a big impact on our students' mental and emotional health. So even though students do have challenges, they also have motivations for wanting to come and complete the qualification. Number 1 being a desire for employment, because with a TVET qualification, you do get quicker access to the workforce. Some students might have entrepreneurial aspirations. Some learners aim to start their own businesses and then come and enroll in a program such as office administration so that they can learn more about starting their business. There's also an alternative to traditional schooling where NCV offers a more practical and hands-on learning environment. Students will have access to further education because, especially if they do well during their 3 years, so the NCV qualification can then serve as a gateway to higher education, such as diplomas or degrees at universities of technology. We also have government support and funding, as mentioned previously, in the form of financial aid through NSFAS. And then the skills development and independence of our learners, which is motivated by gaining technical, life, and workplace skills. So, as a lecturer, our responsibility to our students is to create an inclusive and relatable learning space. So, how do we do that? We do it by building a supportive, respectful learning environment. In order to do that, we need to know our students, foster respect and trust, and set clear and fair expectations. We also need to use culturally and contextually relevant content. Try to integrate local examples by using real-world South African contexts. So, as a lecturer, you may want to go and research, explore social media like TikTok, Instagram, etc., to see what is happening or what our youth is exposed to on social media and try to relate that to our lessons. Number 3, differentiate your teaching methods. So it is important to mix teaching styles because not all learners learn the same. We need to support their different learning needs and break down complex tasks. So what I like to do is I may show a video and then ask questions based on the video. I make sure my students have a worksheet as well and that we have a discussion around the topic. So all these things need to be put into place to allow for our different learners with different learning styles to absorb the lesson better. We also need to encourage peer learning and collaboration. So use group work and peer teaching and also assign mixed ability peers. There are different ways to utilize in order to form groups so that students are not always grouping with the same. One method to do this is to have them line up shortest to tallest and then count them off depending on how many groups you want. You can also divide them according to date of birth, according to shoe size, etc. There are a vast number of ways to form different groups. Number 5, integrate life skills and emotional support. Embed soft skills into lessons, create safe space for discussions, and refer students to student support services when they are available. Right. Provide clear feedback and recognize progress. We need to also give regular constructive feedback and celebrate the students' small successes. I like to keep track of my ICAS marks so that I know which student is going to be getting the highest ICAS mark, for instance, in their class. And I reward that with, in this year, it made the latecomers give a 5 rand as a punishment for coming late to class. So they had a choice. They could either sing if they're late or give a 5 rand. And those 5 rands that I collected throughout the year went to the student in the class with the highest ICAS mark. Number 7, we also need to promote language inclusivity. Use simple, clear English. Provide glossaries. A good idea is to have what is called a word wall, where you have English words translated into isiXhosa. That way, students are able to understand the word better in their own language. We also need to leverage technology and creativity. Make sure you use videos and digital tools and have students create short presentations. We will get into that a bit later during one of our next sessions. Okay, session 2 is based on learner-centered teaching strategies. What are learner-centered teaching strategies? It is to explore active, reflective, and collaborative learning. The techniques that will be used will be active versus passive learning, storytelling with local narratives, such as a youth-led business, a role-play life scenario, such as job interviews, peer pressure, cyberbullying, and reflective journaling in the form of either physically writing it down in a journal or digitally taking notes. What is passive learning? Passive learning is when students receive information from the lecturer without actively engaging with it. The characteristics of passive learning is that it is teacher-centered, where the focus is solely on the lecturer. It is one-way communication, so we only have one person speaking throughout the lesson, the lecturer. There is little interaction or application, and students mostly listen or copy notes or even zone out. Examples of passive learning is lecturing without interaction, which is where the lecturer explains content while students listen quietly. Copying notes from the board, where students transcribe notes without discussing or questioning. Reading textbooks silently, where students read assigned sections on their own. But in my personal experience, you'll often have them having unrelated conversations instead of actually going through the textbook. So this does not work. And then watching a video without reflection, where learners watch a video but are not asked to reflect or respond on what it is that they have just watched. What is active learning? Active learning involves students doing things and thinking about what they're doing. It makes them a part of the learning process. It is student-centered, engaging and participatory, develops critical thinking and problem-solving skills, encourages collaboration and feedback. Examples of this is think, share, Students think about a question, discuss it with a partner, then share with the class. Practical demonstrations. Students perform a hands-on activity. Class debates or role play. Students argue different sides of a topic or show their understanding of a topic through action. Case study analysis. Students work in groups to solve a real-world problems. Quizzes or clicker questions, where lecturers ask short questions during lessons to check understanding immediately. Mind mapping or concept mapping. Students draw visual summaries to organize their understanding. Any of these can be used with any of our life skills topics. Why is active learning better for NCV students? Many NCV students are hands-on learners, so practical learning improves their understanding. Students come from diverse backgrounds, and interactive methods respect and include different experiences. It builds confidence, so students feel more involved and capable, and it also encourages soft skills like teamwork, communication, and problem solving, which grows naturally from the group work. We also need to keep in mind that teamwork or group work prepares students for the workplace, where you don't work in a silo but amongst other people. What is the value of journaling for NCV students? It improves self-awareness. It helps students think about their learning challenges and emotions. It builds communication and language skills, because writing regularly improves English literacy, vocabulary, and sentence structure. It encourages personal and career growth, where students reflect on their goals, values, and aspirations, and also connects classroom learning to real life plans. It also supports emotional well-being, because journaling creates a private space to express feelings that can reduce stress, boost confidence, and support mental health. How do we make journaling work in the NCV classroom? We need to give them prompts, make it low pressure, use it weekly or at key points, give students time to share, this is optional, and link it to career pathways. So how do we actually apply this? We ask guided questions like, what did I learn today? What was difficult for me? What am I proud of? Focus on expression, not grammar or marks, for example, after a major assignment or project. Work in pairs or small groups if comfortable. Include prompts like, how does this relate to the job that I want? Outcome 2. Digital tools in life skills and computer literacy. Session 3. Blended learning for life skills and computer literacy. So, blended learning uses our life skills topics with technology. Life skills tools that could be used, for example, is Padlet for class vision boards, Kahoot or quizzes to review life skills concepts, TED Talks to inspire self-awareness, Mentimeter for anonymous live discussions on taboo or complex topics, Canva for creating visually appealing content such as posters and presentations. In computer literacy, the following tools can be used: Typing Club for keyboard fluency, gcfglobal.org for foundational office skills, Google Workspace for collaborative projects, and LinkedIn Learning for self-paced tech upskilling. We will now be going through each of these in a bit more detail. Okay, so Padlet will be used or can be used for class vision boards. It is a free online platform that acts as a virtual bulletin board or canvas where users can post, share, and organize content like text, images, videos, and links. Life skills integration. How do we integrate it with life skills? We use it for a vision board activity on goal setting or future planning. Each student adds images, quotes, or short notes representing their personal, academic, and career goals. For example, in a lesson on planning for the future, ask students, what does success look like for you in 5 years? And let them upload pictures of their dream job, car, business, or qualification. We also can take this one step further and ask them, what are the smaller goals that you need to do in order or you need to achieve in order for you to achieve your long term goal in 5 years of the dream job, car, business, or qualification? All of that can be uploaded onto Padlet so that they have a visual representation of what it is that they need to do. Kahoot or quizzes is to review life skills concepts. These are game-based quiz platforms where students answer multiple choice questions in real time using their phones or computers. Leaderboards and instant feedback adds excitement to the lesson. How do we integrate it with life skills? We use it to revise key topics such as self-esteem, healthy relationships, or communication skills. It is great for end-of-topic review or test preparation. Example of this would be to run a life skills showdown quiz with questions like, what's an example of assertive communication? And which of the following is a sign of toxic relationship? Mentimeter is for anonymous live discussions on complex topics. Mentimeter allows students to respond anonymously to questions or polls in real time using their phones. The results are then shown live as word clouds or graphs, etc. Can be used for sensitive topics like gender identity, mental health, peer pressure, or sexual health. Students would feel more comfortable sharing their opinions anonymously without fear of judgment. An example would be during a lesson on mental health awareness, you could ask, what are the signs of stress that you've experienced? What stops young people from asking for help? Their answers form a visual word cloud to open up deeper discussion. TED Talks is used to inspire self-awareness. It is short, powerful talks by speakers on real-life topics such as personal growth, resilience, and motivation. It can be used to spark discussion and reflection on identity, self-worth, or overcoming challenges. Choose speakers who reflect the students' backgrounds or aspirations. An example would be to show a talk like The Power of Vulnerability by Brene Brown or a local youth speaker, then ask students to journal about what did you learn about yourself from this talk? Have you experienced something similar? TED Talks can even be integrated with Mentimeter, where students would feel more comfortable posting their answers anonymously. Canva is great for creating visually appealing content such as posters and presentations. It is a free web-based graphic design tool that allows users to create visually appealing content such as posters, presentations, infographics, social media posts, and more. It offers easy-to-use drag and drop features, customizable templates, and a vast library of images, icons, and fonts. How do we integrate Canva with life skills? In a life skills lesson focused on career readiness, students can use Canva to design professional CVs or digital portfolios. The activity could include designing a one-page CV and a visual summary of their skills, certifications, or personal development goals. An example of using Canva would be during a lesson on health and well-being, provide students with the following instructions. Using Canva, create a digital poster that promotes good personal hygiene. Your poster should include at least 3 personal hygiene tips, such as brushing your teeth or washing your hands, icons or illustrations to support each tip, a short slogan encouraging healthy habits such as stay clean, stay healthy. Color and layout to make the message clear and attractive. This can also be used as a formative or in the form of an assessment. With our level threes, they usually have a project where they have to do an awareness campaign. And so Canva could also be used to have them do the awareness campaign where they design a poster based on the topic that they've chosen and then place it on, let's say, their WhatsApp group or their WhatsApp status, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc., thereby creating awareness on a digital platform. Okay, we're moving on to how digital tools can support learning in computer literacy. The following tools can be integrated into computer literacy lessons to support digital literacy and life skills development. A tool such as Typing Club, which is fun, interactive platform for improving typing speed and accuracy. It is important so that students are able to finish the exam speedily. We've also got gcfglobal.org with free tutorials on Microsoft Office, email, internet safety, and digital basics. Google Workspace with docs, sheets, and slides to teach CVs, budgets, and digital portfolios. It also allows on-the-go real-life editing. So, how do we blend computer literacy with life skills? We've got what is called a flipped classroom, where you can share a short video, such as email etiquette before class, and then use the class time for practice or discussion. Gamification allows for turning a digital safety lesson into a quiz challenge with scores or badges. Peer teaching, where students present tech tips such as their own 3 ways to save time in Microsoft Word or life skills advice. Keeping in mind that sharing of best practices saves time, especially when it comes to computer literacy. As someone that has taught computer literacy as well, there are different ways to get to the same result. So it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing depending on your lecturers. So it can be a bit tricky if you're learning how to do something, for example, creating borders in level 2. And your lecturer shows you a certain way, but you go to level 3 and you're given a different lecturer who then shows you in a different way. So it could be confusing, which is a con, but it could also be a pro in that you might learn a shorter, faster, more efficient way to create those borders. We've also got portfolio projects where you use Google Sites or PowerPoint to help students compile work, such as digital CVs, goal setting plans, or email examples. Session 4 is linking life skills with computer literacy. Why is it important that we integrate the two? It's important because it prepares students for the real world where digital and personal skills are used together. It reinforces learning by applying life skills through digital tools, such as using Microsoft Word to write a goal plan. It saves time by combining outcomes in one cohesive activity, and it also promotes critical thinking, creativity, and personal agency. Examples of integrating the two includes having a topic like setting goals in life skills, which can then be applied in computer literacy by creating a personal development plan in Microsoft Word in the case of level 3s, or setting SMART goals in the case of level 2s. Time management is another life skills topic. In computer literacy, you can use Excel to build a weekly study schedule. Communication skills can be integrated with computer literacy, where students are asked to write and send a professional email on any topic within the life skills syllabus. Career readiness can be utilized in computer literacy by creating a digital CV and cover letter in Microsoft Word, in the case of the Level 4 syllabus. In the Level 2 syllabus, they can use Google or a search engine to look for sources of job opportunities. Responsible citizenship, which is part of our topic 4 in all 3 levels, where students can design a poster on online safety or cyberbullying using PowerPoint or Canva. And that is how, or just a few examples of how a life skills topic can be integrated with a computer literacy task. Outcome 3 is practical application and reflection. We begin by designing engaging lessons. To design an engaging lesson, we can start with applying what is known as backward design. What is backward design? It is a teaching approach that starts with the end goal, such as what learners should achieve, and then planning assessments and lessons to reach that end goal. The steps in the backward design includes identifying the desired learning outcome. For example, if a timetable needs to be created, first show students examples of a timetable. In computer literacy, show students what a memo, which is the finished activity or document, looks like. It is important that students first develop a visual representation or understanding of what it is they must produce. In other words, what should students know, understand, and be able to do? For example, submit a typed CV, such as in the case of Level 4, or manage time digitally, such as in the case of Level 2. Step 2 is to determine acceptable evidence. How will learners show mastery? Example, they need to show a completed digital CV or a study timetable in Excel. Step 3, plan learning experiences and teaching. So design lessons and tasks that build toward the outcome of, for example, completing your digital CV or creating your study timetable. Yeah, there are just a few more examples of how this can be achieved. Life skills outcomes such as plan for future studies or careers, and the digital tool or evidence that needs to be presented over there would be your CV or vision board using Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. The life skills topic, manage time effectively, can be shown using or shown with a weekly planner using Excel. Communicating effectively can be shown with a professional email written and sent, or making responsible online decisions, which can be provided in the form of a poster on cyber safety using Canva or PowerPoint. Session 6, keeping the spark alive. We need to sustain motivation and meaning in life skills and computer literacy teaching. It has been my experience that students do not take the subject as seriously as they do the other subjects. So how do we keep them focused? How do we keep them coming back to class? As the year progresses, it's easy for students and lecturers to lose momentum. This session focuses on practical strategies to keep learners engaged, motivated, and connected to the real-world value of life skills and computer literacy. Key focus areas for this includes progress tracking. Use simple tools like checklists, charts, or goal sheets to show learners how far they've come. For example, as a lecturer at the beginning of the year, you could create a checklist for your students with the learning outcomes in level 2 or level 3 or level 4 and have them tick off after they have learned about each outcome. We've also got real-world links, such as using real job listings to practice CV writing or interview preps in the case of level 4, or using real websites to show them how to filter for jobs that they want to apply for or qualify for in the case of level 2. Create a personal budget in Excel based on real prices in the case of level 4. Explore email writing for job or college applications, and watch workplace videos that show digital tools in action. So here are a few ways to keep learners motivated as well. As mentioned before, we can start each lesson with a digital warm-up, such as a typing race or mini quiz. Use real job ads for digital CV writing and interview practice. Let students become tech tip presenters in class. Create a visual progress tracker for skills completed. Gamify lessons with mini challenges or reward systems. Have students build a monthly budget in Excel using real-life data. Display student work such as CVs or posters on a board or class drive. Include a weekly reflection where students set goals. And use guest speakers or job-related videos. And celebrate small wins with positive feedback or digital badges. Thank you so much for participating in this workshop. I hope that it was informative and that you are motivated to go to the classroom and give your students the best possible experience in our subject.